Well, we are very welcome. I look forward to working on anything and everything that you think we could partner on. Of course, I'd be there tomorrow.
Chris, want to give you a one-time round of applause. Hey, Chris, I want to ask you one quick question. Today is Earth Day. Tell me, what have you done to make the environment that much better?
Excellent question. I've done this for years, and I endorse paperless environments. I maintain one in my office. I endorse technology-related paperless solutions that I have partners I work with to help any type of business to reduce their paper, number one. And also to try to get companies to see the benefits of having people telecommute at least a few days a week. A lot of companies aren't that comfortable, believe it or not, right now. And I try to stress, hey, we can save the commuting, we can save the subways and the trains, and people. I can install effective telecommuting systems, which I do also in my work, to give a virtual office environment and let people save the ecology by not commuting a few days a week.
Chris, thanks so much. Looking forward to working with you in the very near future. Thanks again for joining us.
Thank you, Ted. Have a fantastic night.
You too. And that was, believe it or not, my good friend, Christopher Whalen, the Foxhole Father. But without further ado, the stars of the show are here. Mr. Wonderful, Mr. Fabulous, and the CEO himself. That's Lee Val and Todd Vandenberg. What's going on, fellas?
I was just trying to call in a pizza. I'm not sure. I need a large.
I can tell you right now what the CEO has done for Earth Day. He is conserving water. He has not bathed in 6 weeks.
That's true. Guys, I mean, you know.
Folks, I want to let you know this is the crew from Baseball, Beer, and Barbecue. Catch them, and when I say them, I'm including myself, every Saturday morning, 10:30, on this very network, the Happy Hour Network. Baseball, the best in food, drinks. It's a comedy show. It's a road show, and we talk a little MLB, MILB with some, I guess, guest analysts. But guys, it was great connecting with you last week in Atlanta for the first time, and I will tell you this much, Todd. Lee was as bossy on the phone as he was in public.
He's actually much worse in private. Did you say we talked MILF? We have never discussed that on our show, sir. No. This is not that kind of network.
MILB. MILB.
I apologize, sir.
Do me a favor, Todd. Just shake the wax out of your ears a little bit.
No, it's still there.
Oh my goodness. It's still there. So, guys, what's going on? I mean, everyone's talking about the NFL taking over, the airwaves ever since they released the schedule. I think, are we the only three talking about baseball?
I don't think I'm going to interrupt you, Todd, because I guess I've been deemed the CEO, even though it's really Ted. We look at today, and it's snowing in Detroit, and it's going to snow in Cleveland. The Tigers and Yankees game, they're playing in the snow, so maybe it's too early to play MLB. Maybe they should push it back to May, where it starts to warm up in most of the cities. So maybe that's the issue. We still have that NFL hangover because a lot of the country's still in cold weather. I don't know what it's like in New York. It's not even that warm here in Tennessee or soon to be Florida, where Todd's going to be. I'm sure it's 30 below there, but yeah, maybe we should just push it back. I'm joking, of course, but there's a lot of people. It's Chris Bryant, thank God, because a lot of people talking about MLB just because of Chris Bryant, who hit a double and then had an error on it. Should have been his first triple of the night because it theoretically was. But, thank goodness for Chris Bryant and guys like that, because it's keeping MLB on the tongues of sports fans everywhere.
And I will support the CEO in his campaign to move baseball to a 62-game season that will be played in July and August. I wholeheartedly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, oh, my goodness.
Yeah, we talked about the coverage of the NFL schedule, the extravaganza they made out of it in a pre-pro meeting, and it's just, are you kidding me? A special to release the schedule? I mean, who cares? I don't. That's ridiculous. It's baseball season.
It's baseball season.
I was more concerned. I was more concerned that there were so many people. Actually, Twan Staley, a good friend of everybody's show, great guy, commented on Facebook that so many people were posting on Facebook about how they were kind of arranging their lives in the fall over one game that they might see in the NFL season. We all like the NFL. It's not my favorite sport. I know it's not Todd's favorite sport either, and I don't know about you, Ted, but it is kind of ridiculous when you get to the point of, hey, I have a family, but I'm going to rearrange, a few weeks of my life because of one NFL game. It's kind of silly to me.
Well, two things about that. After Atlanta, I think we know what Ted's favorite sport is, and in a way, I didn't think about this till just now when you said that, arranging their lives around it. You know why? Because that's their vacation, because they can't afford to go to more than one NFL game.
That is true. That is true.
It's like
I got to tell you,
it's an event. It costs too damn much. It's crazy.
It is.
I got to jump in here and say, when I went to AT&T Stadium, the tickets to get into Jerry's World were $325, and that was for the third tier. Third tier.
That's crazy.
I mean, heck, you would think I would be standing next to Tony Romo or something like that, for $325, but it's really something. The phenomenon has come in. I mean, and right now, to be a sports fan, you think about it. You got NHL, NBA playoffs. You got the start of the MLB season, and everyone's talking NFL. And I'm like, that's why I think we had the best show on Saturdays dedicated to MLB. And it should be, you know what, I think I'm going to start this campaign. We should be on the MLB network. They should be sponsoring the show.
They should be.
They should. I think part of the issue is they pushed the NFL draft back so far, too. It used to be in early April. Now it's in May, basically, for the most part of it. So, people are talking about the NFL draft a month into baseball season, which doesn't help baseball any, because the NFL is definitely going to get a lot more publicity than the Major League Baseball does at any point, really. It's good that it's a summer sport, because otherwise, if the NFL decided to play games and start playing games in late July, that's all we'd hear about. We wouldn't hear anything about Major League Baseball, unfortunately. I will say the tickets in Seattle are not, the Seahawks tickets are not that bad. I mean, they're still expensive, but part of it is Jerry Jones raking in that money, and part of it's Dallas and the stadium he built there. It's not like that everywhere.
Which is true.
I tell you this. I sent both of you gentlemen a text that I said, well, if I was to do anything, because I think the one thing I want to do probably this summer is go see the Nationals, at least see the Nationals ballpark. And if I was able to tie that into an NFL game in the, Baltimore, in the Maryland, D.C. area, I would. But I definitely do want to get to see a Nationals ballpark. Tell me, each of you, what is your next ballpark, or your next ideal ballpark that you want to go visit?
You want to go first, Lee? Lee just want to go first, so I'll go first.
No, go ahead.
No. You go first after you, sir. Let's do it all fun now. Ideally, honestly, I would like to go to Wrigley next. That won't be the ballpark I go to next. It will undoubtedly be the Miami Marlins. I'm sure I will take in a game there as far as Major League goes. So as far as an actual game that I'll probably go to, I'm sure I'll go see a AA game or something like that, or maybe AAA in Florida would be the next thing I would go to see.
Well, yeah, and as far as a Major League Baseball stadium, I'm not sure what it would be, to be honest. It's funny because the Nationals and the Orioles, Todd and I could probably, I'm not sure about Kansas City or St. Louis. St. Louis would probably be almost as close as seeing the Nationals and Orioles, just because of the way the state of Virginia is shaped, and for us to drive that way. It's closer to go to Cleveland than it is Washington, D.C. So it's one of those things. I've been to Wrigley. I've been to both stadiums in Chicago and Cleveland, Cincinnati, and Seattle, and a lot of places on the. I guess my next stadium that I may see might actually be the Yankee Stadium next time we're in New York City.
Get out of here! Really?
Well, I've seen Citi Field, which is a great field, but I do want to see the Yankees. I just want to experience the other team. It's not that I don't like the Yankees, but I do want to experience the. It's funny because we were in Atlanta, and the Church of Baseball it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek joke, but it's not really, because you see these stadiums. Each stadium, there's only 30 of them. They're cathedrals. They really are. And we went to Atlanta, which is a stadium that's you walk in and you have the narthex basically that you walk in, and then the sanctuary itself is the field, and it's a great place to see a game. And unfortunately, Atlanta wants to get rid of this stadium that's 20 years old, and except for the scoreboard, because it didn't seem to operate correctly, as far as I'm concerned, there was absolutely nothing wrong with the stadium. It was in a horrible location, but the stadium itself was great. And just to make it a personal moment, my best friend's about to leave. He's about to move to Florida. And it's one of those moments that, we got to share it together before he moved. And, maybe I'll end up in Miami and see a game with him at one point, but it meant something to me too. And I think not just to see the game, but that's, it goes back to the NFL a little bit. You go to the games because you want to experience them with people that you care about, family, friends, or whatever. And that's really what sport is all about, seeing it collectively with people you care about. And, Atlanta, seeing and being able to sit, Todd and I were straight away center field. I honestly could not have asked for better seats, even if I'd been down the first baseline. Where we saw the game, we saw straight home plate. We saw everything that happened on the field, and the field was great. It's unfortunate they decided to build another stadium, 20 years after they built this one. It makes the Braves look worse to me, because other teams would have probably held on to the stadium. But, again, all the stadiums are great except for Tampa, and I've been there. But all the rest of them, I imagine, have to be phenomenal.
And it was an excellent trip. It's a great stadium. I mean, you have the stations of the hot dog, if you're going to stretch the analogy all the way around, which are way too damn expensive, by the way, which is ridiculous. But the stadium is in terrific shape. It's a beautiful park. And like you said, it's getting together and it's enjoying baseball, and baseball lends itself to that camaraderie that football doesn't. I mean, it's just a different game. The pace of the game encourages discussion and just hanging out and talking. And I mean, that's one of the things that I love about baseball. It's such a great sport to get together and just talk about the game and talk about whatever, and then you can get back to right into the game in a heartbeat whenever you're ready to.
That is true. That is true. Guys, we've got a great show. I mean, this is a great network, but we've got a fantastic show that comes on Saturdays. Can one of you guys plug the show?
Personally, I don't care for it, so I think Lee needs to.
Well, I was about to say, I think this week specifically it should be Todd, because it's going to be you and Todd on the show Saturday. So, we're still, I will say this specific Saturday, we're still looking for a guest. I've asked several people. Unfortunately, it was kind of last moment. We'll definitely find someone. We may even ask Murph to come back on. But you guys could run with it by yourselves. You definitely don't need me. You guys both do a great job on the show. But it can be found, Saturday mornings most of the time at 10:30. Sometimes we switch it around depending on the guest. But we do talk baseball mostly, and we also discuss beer and food. And, if Bobby Sill, Todd gets his book, Barbecuing with Bobby, and no, I'm not joking, then we'll be happy to have him on the show, which would be fantastic. But, in 2 weeks the show will be on hiatus for that week, because we're going to have a Nikki X Happy Hour on May 2nd to talk NFL Draft with Russell Baxter and Floyd Mayweather and the guy who's going to beat Pacquiao fight and the Kentucky Derby.
You heard it here first. Floyd Mayweather on the show, apparently. I love it.
Guys.
It won't be boxer, some other guy named Floyd.
Really quick, tell us where we can
barber.
find both of you.